So I'm excited about this. I've been a big fan of Sebastian Maniscalco for many years. I first became aware of him during one of the episodes with Jerry Seinfeld of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and that was the first time I heard of him. And since then, he has just skyrocketed. And he's got movies, he's got podcasts, he's got specials, and of course he's on tour, and he's going to be at the Nutter Center on Sunday. Sebastian, how you doing, man?
How's it going?
It's great to have you on the show. I've been an admirer for a long time of your work, and I'm just curious with this tour. You've done 6 specials now. You are constantly creating and generating new material, and so much of your stuff comes from your own personal life, growing up, nostalgia, that kind of thing. Was that always your choice? Always your style, or is that just something you kind of fell into and found that that's what's worked best for you?
Yeah, so it was kind of trial and error with me. I think I started out my career doing very kind of generic, general observational material of daily life, and then once I opened up and got personal with it, talking about my family, my upbringing, my immigrant father, I saw a shift in not only my ability to, uncover some personal moments for me on stage, but also a lot of people tended to gravitate towards that type of material, and noticed that I could mine that material for some time, and then right now kind of reverted back to, just family, observational stuff. I'm doing some stuff on current events, which I generally don't do. So yeah, it's been great to explore, all these kind of aspects of my life on stage, and people tend to be gravitating towards, just kind of family humor.
Right. Well, you're terribly engaging on stage. That's one of the things I love about you, and I've seen your clips, I've seen your specials, where, many comedians, and I'm not throwing shade on them, they just kind of come out and they kind of walk around a little bit, and they got their mic in their hand, and they're doing their thing, and that's fine. That works for them. But watching you is like a workout. It's like you work the stage like a rock star. And I love that energy so much. I'm looking forward to seeing that Sunday at the Nutter Center. And I saw this online somewhere, and it's probably a cliche to you by this point, where you're not just telling the joke, you're acting out the joke, or you're working out the joke. But there really is some truth to that, right? I mean, it's not just the lines; it's your facial expressions, it's your body movement, it's the whole deal.
Well, this is a show. It's a show business. When you go out there, you got to put on a show. This ain't you're walking out at the to give a speech in front of your company. You know what I'm saying? To your point, some of the comedians out there, they go out and whatever, they stand behind a microphone and tell jokes. That's fine. But I've always looked at, hey, if you're going to come out, you're going to pay a top dollar, you're going to get a babysitter, you want to see a show. So what I pride myself on is prowling the stage, being physical, being expressive, giving people something to look at, especially nowadays where everybody's attention span is 3 seconds. You got to be almost going to light yourself on fire up there for people to pay attention. So I've always been a big proponent of just telling stories with a lot of physicality, and that was how I kind of grew up around the kitchen table. Everybody was using whatever they could to express themselves, whether it be hand movements, facial expressions, body gestures. So
I liken it to guys hanging out on the street corner. Just hanging out, telling stories, messing with each other. And there's a certain feel and vibe. And that's what I love about you on stage. Now, I've always wanted to ask this of a comedian. So there's certainly some comedians that will sit down and write word for word, and then go on stage and try to work it out. Is that your style, or do you just think of a story that maybe you experienced in your family or your life, whatever it might be, and you have that kernel of an idea, and then you go up and you're basically starting from scratch and just seeing where it goes, what you say, how the audience reacts, or is it more outlined when you go up there?
It's like storytelling for me. I don't sit in a room and write jokes or write taglines. For example, I just went out to breakfast with my father, and he came to pick me up, and I'm in Chicago. I live in Los Angeles, so I generally don't see the inside of his car much, but he's sitting on top of he's got a booster seat now on the driver's side because he can't see over the dashboard anymore. He's shrinking so much that he now needs a booster seat. So I'll see something like that, and bring it on stage one night or try to fit it in my act some way, shape, or form. And that's kind of how it all starts, from, going trick-or-treating with my kids at Halloween. There's a story around that. It kind of unfolds right in front of my face, and I liken it to someone just reporting the news. This is what I saw when I went trick-or-treating. Or this is, I went to my kid's soccer game, and they got killed 14-1, and the other team, it looks like they're 5 years old, but they look like they could be in the World Cup.
Right?
And my son's team is running the wrong way.
But they look good. They look damn
ideas.
good on the field. They look great, right?
Yeah. Of course, they're coached by a South American coach. It's like they're passing, they're crossing, they're doing headers. And my son's team can't find the goal. So it's a lot. It's a lot of different ways comedy can hit you.
Now you were born in one of my favorite cities that I've ever been to, Chicago. I grew up here and born in Dayton, but my family migrated from Chicago to Dayton back in the 1920s, and my great grandfather was a conductor on the L. Way back in the day. And I always love going to that town. Is that just like the best comedy town ever?
Well, Chicago does have a great history of comedy. I didn't really start in Chicago. I took some classes at Second City, but I didn't know any better. I just left here when I was 24 years old to pursue a stand-up career in Los Angeles. Normally what you do is you kind of get your feet underneath you in the city that you grew up in, and then you kind of move to maybe New York or LA. I did it quite the opposite, where I just, go in the entertainment business, you go to Los Angeles. So I didn't really get to reap the benefits of Chicago's great comedy atmosphere, but it is a great comedy town. I think the people of Chicago are very sarcastic, very, I was just with my buddies last night, ripping each other to shreds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
First time I've seen him in a year, and already my buddy's wearing Jordans. He's 52 years old. I'm like, enough with the Jordans already. They get it in Chicago.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like Dayton in that it's the Midwest, and everybody's generally kind of nice to each other, but we can be cutting. We can be deadly with the words and the jabs. But generally we're nice. We're nice to each other, and then we let loose. So, Sebastian, you're going to be at the Nutter Center this Sunday, November 10th. Many tickets still available for that show. I have one last question, though, before we go, because I'm a radio guy, and I love podcasting. And you've got, I believe, a podcast, don't you, with, is it Pete?
Yeah, me and Pete. Pete and Sebastian Show, the podcast, has been going strong for 12 years now. And, Pete's a beer and peanut type of guy. I'm a wine and cheese guy. We discuss our personal and professional lives. Sometimes we have guests, people that we really enjoy talking to. Our big get was Andy Garcia. We love Andy and talking to him about all his movie roles. And he actually told us a way he applies his cologne throughout the day. He carries around a little handkerchief in his pocket, and it's sprayed with cologne. So every 3 hours, he kind of wipes his neck a little bit to give himself a refresh. And I'm like, God, I got to use that move. So
that is great. That is great.
Yeah, so we enjoy doing the podcast. It's once a week. We also have a Patreon page with the podcast. So yeah, it's been really fun with Pete.
Well, awesome. Sebastian, I really appreciate you chatting with me today, and I'm looking forward to the show on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see you on Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Todd.